Hi, year eights. This is your biology guidance video, and in this week's lessons, you'll be learning about how we establish the development of new drugs. Now, this is very, very much linked to the solutions that we're trying to find for combating COVID-19, the coronavirus. However, a drug and a vaccine are slightly different. The vaccine is an inoculation that can be done, and it's like a weaker form of the disease that can affect us. And what a vaccination does is it builds up immunity. So whereas a drug is actually something that is used to bring about positive effect on someone who already has a disease. So a vaccine is kind of preventative, but a drug is something that you use active at that moment to deal with a problem that a patient may have. However, the trials that are done, the research that is done between drugs and vaccines are actually very, very similar, And there are very similar parallels as well at the moment, because there is a race to try and find a vaccine for COVID-19. So it's the parallels are very, very much similar to each other. So it's very important for you to consider what we do for drug trialing is very similar to what we're actually finding with vaccine trials for COVID-19 at this present moment in time. And of course, the UAE is just one nation that is helping on a global scale to try and break that puzzle. So in establishing the development of a new drug, I need you to understand that takes many years normally, but we're trying to get it down to months for the COVID-19 vaccine. It does take many years because drug companies and governments have to be certain that they work and that they are safe before humans take them. I need most of you to be able to simplify the process for finding new drugs as coming from traditional uses of plants to treat certain conditions, analyzing the plant to find active ingredients or creating new compounds based on an existing drug to improve it. So this is the reason why we really want to try and preserve the rainforests across the world, because there are so many plants that are still unbelievably yet to be discovered. And maybe some of those plants could actually hold the key to giving us a cure for certain diseases that we have not yet discovered. So plants are amazing. They are actually little chemical factories themselves, and they have the chemicals already inside them. So by preserving the plant and growing and cultivating that plant, we could actually get a source for a drug that we could be using in the future. So I've used aspirin as an example for you to study in these lessons. And some of you, I'd like you to deconstruct the processes of drug testing into two stages of testing: laboratory testing and clinical trials. I've got a nice little extension exercise for some of you, and it's an extra 11-minute video. It's a video that's on YouTube. And it outlines how aspirin interacts with the human body in combating pain and also thinning the blood. So the first activity that I need you to do is I need you to visit the website that's on this slide over here. Coronavirus, is there a coronavirus vaccine, and how do vaccines work? So once you click on that, I need you to watch a very short video on there. It says, how do you make a vaccine for coronavirus? And I'd also like you to read through the article to really appreciate the drugs and vaccines to help combat the coronavirus. Would normally take years, if not decades, to develop, but medical researchers working hard across the world hope to produce a vaccine for coronavirus in just a few months. And there are some questions on the article that I will be putting on the quiz. Then the second task that you need to do, this links to simplifying the process for finding new drugs. The second task I'd like you to do is I'd like you to read the text on the right-hand side. So it's text-based. I need you to be able to understand the text itself. And then to support you with some of the new words, I have place a narration. And if the narration doesn't work, just give me a quick email on Sunday or Monday and I'll be able to modify that. And that's where the optional extension is. So the optional extension down here, if you're interested in how aspirin works as a medicine, I know some of you have aspirations with becoming doctors. You may also be interested in that video. So click on that link. Now that's not going to be tested. That is an optional extension. But this part over here definitely is going to be part of the quiz. So please read that. Have my narration there, especially if you are stuck with the pronunciation of some of the words that are unfamiliar. Take note of the number of atoms that are in these molecules. There are two molecules here. One is salicylic acid and the other one is aspirin. The black atoms are actually carbon atoms. The red ones are oxygen and the white ones are hydrogen. Take note of the number of atoms in each one. There may be something that comes up in the quiz later on that would that you'll be able to do. Then you go on to task activity, task 3. This links to deconstructing the processes of drug testing into 2 stages of testing. So you've got lab testing and you have clinical trials. So read through the text on the right-hand side. That shows you how drugs are tested. And questions, again, will be appearing in your quiz. And I have placed a little narration to support your learning. Then task 4. Talking about clinical trials, you've got a couple of new terms here. You've got placebo, blind trials, double-blind trials, open-label trials, and bias. Lots of real technical language here. So this is what I'm expecting some of you to be able to do: deconstruct the processes of drug testing into 2 stages: laboratory testing and clinical trials. So read through the text. It shows you how clinical trials are conducted. Again, questions on the text will appear in the quiz, and to support you with some of these new terms, you can read through it using and listen to my narration using the link that I've got. The links will open up in a new tab. And then finally, complete the Google quiz. Click on the Google quiz and just answer. It's just 10 questions, multiple choice. Finish those off, and that's it for the lesson. So by the end of this lesson, you will be successful if you can establish the development of a new drug. And the fact that it takes many years because drug companies and governments have to be certain that they work and are safe. Simplify the process for finding new drugs as coming from traditional uses of plants to treat certain conditions, analyzing the plant to find active ingredients, or creating new compounds based on an existing drug to improve it. Deconstruct the process of drug testing into 2 stages of testing: laboratory testing and clinical trials, and finally applying the principles of drug testing to the search for a vaccine to combat COVID-19. And just in case you are watching this on YouTube and you have no idea what the links are that I've linked into the document, I've actually got a little page here just to show you which of the pages I've recommended to my students. Thank you very much for watching Year 8. Best of luck, and look forward to seeing you on the Google Meet this week. It is week 10. On the Google Meet, we will be discussing all of the work that we covered in week 8. And what we covered in week 8 was the Year 8 Biology Assessment 1. Okay, so we will be looking through and discussing some of the answers that you are able to come up with. We've got the responses over here. And just to whet your appetite, here are some of the analyses and some of the insights that were produced. The question that was the hardest question was about different sets of pea plants grown from 500 pea seeds. So we'll be talking to you about continuous and discontinuous variation. There was actually an example of both. Okay. And here are the graphs for the questions that came up. So there was there's quite a bit of variety with the answers for question 5. So we're looking at question 5, question 6 definitely, question 7 was the one that everyone was stuck on. So I'm going to go through that certainly because only 6 people got that correct. With the rest of them, maybe a little bit of ambiguity. Only 4 people got that one wrong in question 9. But there are successes as well. The question 10, every single person in the class got right as well. Okay, so here are the other results. Feel free to pause the video, and if you want to analyze any of those in greater depth. And we'll be going through all of these answers when we review our lesson in later on in this week. The quiz was actually out of 32, and the range was between 19 points out of 32 and 31 points. The average mark in the class was just over 26. Take care, thanks very much. Look forward to speaking to you on the Sunday at the Google Meet. Stay safe, stay at home. Bye for now. And don't forget, if you have not done so already, please leave a subscribe for this channel, Science Night Bus on YouTube. Really need to try and get through to 100 so I can personalize the YouTube address. Your appreciation is greatly valued. Thanks a lot, guys. Leave a like, leave a sub, and see you soon. Bye.